Hi, my name is Katie Snap, and welcome to the series of videos. Each one is packed with ideas and concepts for taking the path forward as a business builder in the consulting business, including actions that you can put into play right away. So I have two requests right at the start. As you watch me and my concepts, I ask that you take off that hat that says, "What does she know?" and set it aside. The question for us together is not what I know, but whether you are ready for what I'm saying. And the second request, if I know you're right, there's a high chance that you're multitasking right now. We women are really good at that. I think we're genetically predisposed for it. So I ask you to turn off any of the dinging in the background or the vibration in your pants or the tendency to go back to your email inbox and check it. Focusing on this is for you. Right now, it's what you've come here for. What I'll talk about in this video series could be what you're looking for to change your life from this point forward. I'm not kidding. You're here because, well, let's guess, you're a professional woman. You've toyed with the idea of translating your experience thus far into a consulting business, something that you can do out on your own. Or maybe you're one step farther than toying. Maybe you've got a consulting business, but you've never felt like you, quote, like you did it right. I'm going to start by sharing a story with you and listen to what parts of the story you can relate to. Although there might be parts of it that are vastly different than yours, I'll bet there are parts of it that are intimately familiar. Okay? In the story, there's this woman, and she's the lead character. So she grows up in a loving family. She goes all out in high school, every sport, every extracurricular that she can get her hands on. As expected, she goes to college with advanced credits. This happens to be math and science, so she's led into the engineering program, somewhat by default. It was a no-brainer. But her youth kept her from scouting around for the perfect major. That's okay. After graduation, she goes straight into a full-time job in a big industry. And it's pretty good, mostly because she went to college for that specifically. She spends years working in that area and refines how she does it. And like many of us, she goes through all the ups and downs that you might expect from just about every career, filled with all sorts of left turns and right turns, including great achievements and some pretty stinging disappointments as well. So this is also the story of a corporate career ladder too. It's one that she thought was going to go to the top, but it ends up being against the wrong wall. Some parts of this job are actually in an office in a basement of a huge facility where you can lose yourself. I mean, not completely what she had in mind for Plush. Again, that's okay. And although this job was an important piece of her life and one that she enjoys because it's got predictable income, it's got professional stature, and it's got growth potential, it isn't the one that she sees as being in control of. It doesn't tap her innovation, and it definitely doesn't allow the freedom of a job where she's making the calls for her future. If you haven't figured it out by now, the story is about me. That was a great part of my career, and I'm proud of my engineering career, but at some level I knew it was always as a stepping stone to something more valuable in the big picture level for me, something more important. So here I am now, several years after that. I went on from engineering, leaving behind that stable job, and began my consulting career. In the 25 or so years since, I've worked with thousands of clients in workshop settings all over the world. I've coached execs, I've coached frontline leaders, what I call the everyday leaders, done that in one-on-one sessions. I've written 2 books. Some of my first book signings were in Vienna, Austria. Wow. And after years on the road, which I loved, I had the experience enough behind me to be able to focus my consulting business more locally. I now spend days on my bike, yoga, or tennis, still very busy. Other days I'm buried at that desk back there creating something for a client. And sometimes I'm on site with my clients who I love working side by side with. They've got small growth activities or they're in the middle of a large transformational initiative. I'm going to show you my path to get there and how a successful business has a fabric to it, but the webbing in between is your passion and your drive. And if you think you can't do it because of your present job title, or because you have low self-confidence, or you just don't think you can do it, then I want you to stop looking at me And I want you to instead look at yourself. Right now, I don't think you're all in. I think you're just dangling yourself in front of me, waiting for me to wow you, waiting for some sort of magic pill that lays it out for you. Your career is where it is because of your mindset. That's true of any of us. Where you see yourself. Not willing to invest the time and the money, it's not going to do anything for you. You've been thinking about this little venture for some time now, but you could barely make it off the couch. So what's happening there? I've worked with women that thought the, oh, I'm so poor belief is the one that makes their story more passionate. Well, maybe in the long run. I've seen women that won't spend a dime on anything, especially not on themselves. I see a lot of that. I don't think you're playing big enough. And if you're not going to play big, then go home. Getting up to that level where you decide you're going to play big is something. That's the huge mental commitment. That's it. An action step you can take right now in your life. Turn off anything that does not promote the direction you want to go. Focus intently on what you want. There's a technique I'm going to suggest that you adopt right now, and it'll serve you well in your consulting career as well. The process is called the think, say, do technique. If somewhere in you right now is a desire, I want you to think about it. Actions eventually are manifested through thoughts, and that's why I want you to start there. That's also why goal setting is really important, because it forces that focusing. We don't get what we want, we get what we focus on. Think about that. We don't get what we want, we get what we focus on. Next, your plans after that are going to translate into actual words, saying them out loud to others, talking to your partner about them, discussing them over wine with girlfriends. Now you're one step farther along that realization. And from there, the body and the spirit make things happen. You've thought, you've said, and now your conscious simply acts out in this fulfillment. That's not an oversimplification. It's a fundamental of life and of success. It's a true fundamental. And that's what I want you to focus on now. Where do you want to go? Think of it and dream of it. That's where it all starts. I'll be back in a few days to give you more, and hopefully you'll stay with it. Until then, you see the comment section below this, so I want you to use it to tell me about your big dream with this career. I want you to talk some about it, okay? Put it into some articulated words. I'm Katie Snap with Time to Fly, and I'll see you in a couple of days.